Some of the smartest people I know made one decision early in their life, early in their career, that quietly ruined their options. Quietly ruined their options in their career. And it wasn't laziness. I'm not talking about laziness here. It was following business advice that sounds smart, absolutely smart on social media. Okay, let me tell you what I saw happen to a lot of the close people around me, my friends over the years. And then I will talk about 3 lessons that I learned from it that I would like to share with you. So when I was in my school and in my college, I had a lot of my friends, and we always used to ask, right? Even you would be talking with them, like, when you grow up, what you are planning to do, what you want to become. Some people say, I want to, start my own company, or, there are a lot of things that people talk about. Some people talk about, I want to get in arts and all that. I had few friends who used to say, my parents have a business. I have a family business. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on that family business because anyways, I don't want to do job. Why I don't want to do job? Because I have my family business. There is no need for me to kind of get a job. Why I have to, have that pain of finding a job and all that stuff. So we used to ask them like, okay, you don't want to do your job and anything. Why you are studying then? If you don't want to do your job, there is no need to do this job, studies, right? So for them, it was mainly for getting a degree. What they used to say is, because I'm going to be doing a business, but I don't want people coming back and saying, you are uneducated and everything. I want to make myself called educated. So I have a basic degree, and then anyways, I'm going to do my business. So kind of studies were kind of a check mark for them. And some of you would know people like those, or you would be one of those. I don't know with whom I'm talking with, but this is what I had few of my friends that were talking. And they had their plan clear. The path was absolutely clear. That, we don't want to work hard on studies and everything because the family business that we have is waiting for us. And job is never a plan. They said, job is never the plan that I have. Business is always my plan. The family business is there. So they said that is where I will be going back on. So now I know a couple of them. I stayed friends with some of them now, over the years, over the decades that I am lucky enough to have some of those friends with me again now. And I know where we are right now. It's easier to interact with them, talk with where we are when I meet them. So they did not focus on studies at the time, right? I mean, they did, but it's mainly for getting that degree certificate that they can put on a wall and show that look at my degree, I have done my degree, but the focus is doing my family business. The backup was it, right? The business was always that backup, so they had it. Which is not wrong. I'm not saying that is wrong. I'm just saying that was one of the things that they had. Now what happened? Years passed, and the business that they had did not scale. They were hoping that, they were able to scale that business to greater heights, but that didn't happen. Why that happened? Because it's fine. I mean, it's not difficult, it's difficult to say why businesses fail because there are all, market forces. It's pretty dynamic to decide which business is going to be successful and which is not going to be successful, right? So the businesses did not scale. One of my friend had his business failed, right? So, I mean, the business they had to shut it down itself. When I meet them now, I remember meeting some of them when I kind of meet them during our, it's not frequent, but whenever I meet them, I talk with them, and the stories that they tell, recently when I was talking with one of my friends, he said that at least before pandemic, we were able to sustain my living expenses, our family's living expenses through the business that we had. But during pandemic, it got so tough because the business that they had was, they were not able to sustain that while sitting at home, which the lockdown and pandemic had made. Because of which they said, because of which he said that he had to shut down his business, almost shut down his business, and he was thinking of starting a newer business after this pandemic has started, because he doesn't want to get back to the prior business that he was doing. I'm not talking about what business it is, or not talking about a friend. I don't want, in future, if anyone is listening to this, I don't want anyone to kind of think of it in a way that identifies him, or I don't want to pinpoint anyone. But he was feeling the regret. He said, I wish I had looked at building my skills at the time. It would have been so much easier for me if I had built my skills, so that I had the option of going back and do the job, because I felt I will be such a great rich person by doing this business and everything. Now that didn't happen. Now I'm struggling to have my daily expenses, also my living expenses also taken care of, because of the business that is not working well right now. So I said, like, the pandemic, when I met, the pandemic was over. So I asked, like, after the pandemic, what is happening? He said, even after the pandemic, it has literally gone down. So it's very difficult to get it back up, because it has literally gone down. I'm just looking to have a different business. And I had similar conversations with a lot of my friends who kind of take that route, who had taken that route. And I felt a little sad for them, because they were, regretting the decision that they had made. And then they said, it's almost impossible for me to get back now and all that. I'm not saying, I just want to make sure, I will talk about 3 lessons that I had, but I just want to make sure, I am not saying don't do business. I know it, because of the stories, it is coming out like that. And because I do, I am a full-time, I do full-time job for a long time. And so I may sound a little biased toward doing a job, because I am not a businessman. But I am not saying don't do business, because it would not make sense for me to come and say, do business, because I myself, I have not done it. But anyways, it doesn't make sense. But with the stories and the things that I'm talking about, I'm not saying don't do business. What I'm saying is, don't skip the skill building phase. The process of skill building, don't skip that and bet everything too early in your career. If you bet too early in your career that I'm not going to be doing, skill building, I'm just, I have decided that I'm going to do my family business. If your business is, your family has multi-millionaire, multi-dollar, billion-dollar business, then you can do whatever you want, right? Even if you don't do anything, it should be fine. But for normal people, like, normal people like you and me who are middle class, it's difficult. You have to understand the risks that come from it. Okay, so the 3 lessons that I want to talk about. One is, business failure is common. Business failure is absolutely common. People just don't post about it. Why is that the case? Just think of it. It's not that there are 100 businesses, 95 of them are successful and just 4 or 5 of them are unsuccessful. The ratio is much higher. Out of 100, majority of them would be unsuccessful and few of them take off, right? But when we see on social media, most of the times, the successful ones are shown, come in your feed and everywhere. Because just think of it. If someone comes and says, my business is unsuccessful, I have tried for 5 years, 10 years and it's unsuccessful, the story would not sell, right? Like, we want to see success. So business failure is common. If you are seeing it online, don't just focus on it, because people just don't post about it. Why would anyone come and say, this is how I failed my business every time, right? 2, skills give you options. Blind bets, take them away. So if you are having skills, you would have more options in your life. So if anything goes wrong, you have always an option to fall back on. If you do blind bets, then the options just are flown away. If you have blind bets, don't do that, because they are going to take those options away from you, and then the regret would come, that I saw with a lot of my friends. I don't want that to happen if anyone of you are listening to this and exploring these options. Number 3 is optionality matters more than the ambition. Optionality matters more. Even if you have ambition, optionality matters more than that ambition, because ambition without fallback is pressure. Ambition without the fallback is pressure. So if you have that ambition and you don't have a fallback, it's pressure. So ambition without fallback is pressure. Pressure leads to bad decisions. Optionality gives you calmness, and that calmness creates better long-term outcomes. So if you want better long-term outcomes, it's important that you are looking at that optionality more than the ambition that you're looking for. As I said, I'm not saying don't do business. I'm just saying don't skip that skill building phase. If you are deciding between job and business right now, what should I do? Because both of them look good, both of them look bad. What can I do? I would just say don't follow loud advice that you see. Don't just follow anyone saying, you do business or you do job. You go and talk to people who have been doing that for years and years. If someone is doing job for 10 years, 15 years, talk with those people. If someone is doing business, talk with those people, not just one or two. Try to talk with a lot of people, and you would know if that is cut for you and your kind of long-term goals or not. You don't want to be in a situation that you go for a job for some years and then think I should have done business, or go for business for a few years and then think I should have gone for a job, right? It would be good if you already know before putting all your efforts and years into that, talking with the real people, than just looking at social media and hearing that loud advice that comes. Don't just do that, because this is a big decision that is for you.